premier game of the week, the Bucs at the Rams. This thing has toggled. This thing has flipped. This thing has flopped. I've got a bet. Steven's got a bet. I'm sure Brad has thoughts. We are sitting right now, as we are recording this on Thursday afternoon, the Bucs have moved to 1.5 favorites in this game, a total of 55 or 55.5. This opened with the Rams, at least one book here in Vegas, Rams as 2-point favorites. That immediately went to 1.5, immediately went to 1 after that. And now we have the full flip of the Bucs being favorites in this game. Brad, you don't have a play on this one, but this is one of the premier games of the season. And we're talking about regular season games here. Two teams that a lot of people have high hopes for, two teams that might end up seeing each other again deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not sure who opened the Bucs as underdogs here because home field and the home field advantage in the NFL this year has been basically nothing today. I think away teams have scored more points, and especially in this SoFi Stadium, it's quite corporate, it's brand new. It's not like there's going to be a rabid fan base here. So I think it's pretty clear the Bucs are the best team in the NFL. Well, they've won 12 straight, scoring 30 or more points, like an NFL record. PFF has got Brady, the best quarterback in the league. They're running more motion, more play action this year. And then the defense, perhaps it looks like a weakness. It's 19th in EPA allowed, but if you actually look at success rate allowed, they're fifth. They're top 5 in the defense. So they're good too, right?
Right.
And then I would say the Rams defense, we mentioned this last week. I do think the Rams offense is good. Maybe not quite as good as the Bucs still. And I think the Rams defense is worse than the Bucs defense. We spoke about a brain drain, Brandon Staley leaving, coordinators leaving, key pieces of the secondary leaving. And the Rams are 19th in early down success rate allowed. So they faced Carson Wentz and Andy Dalton, and they're still below average. So that to me suggests a bit of a weak point. And that's not what you want going up against Brady and co.
Yeah, I am. I thought it was a gift for me to get this Bucs team up to a 7.5 point dog. I mean, that was just a gift for me to move that 1.5 up to 7.5. I have this tied into every other teaser leg I've talked about this week. Bucs at 7.5 point underdogs. I'm looking at a team here that is the most complete team in the NFL. Now, how much you weigh this whole Antonio Brown thing, him being out due to COVID, or at least has a chance to be out due to COVID. Listen, I think that having him as a potential weapon, having him is better than not having him, of course, but you're still looking at Mike Evans. You're still looking at Chris Godwin. You're still looking at Gronk. You still have other wide receivers that you can plug in there. So I'm not incredibly worried about it if Antonio Brown's not able to go. Steven, you are just straight up on the Bucs money line here. Just go ahead, give you the Bucs to win this game outright.
Yeah, I made that bet on Tuesday when I could get Bucs minus 105 on the money line. It's a lot more juice now, so I would be okay just laying the -1, the -1.5 on the Bucs. Anything above 2, I'd probably stop. But I'm with you guys. I think the market just misrated these two teams as equals when the market opened. I don't see them as equals, although I think the Rams are improved at quarterback and we've seen the upside of their offense. But I do think that we have concerns with the Rams defense through 2 weeks. Another note here from our lead writer, Eli Hershkovich: Los Angeles has surrendered the 10th highest success rate in the league on defense, despite having the number 5 in EPA per play. And that's just, in his estimation, the Rams getting a little lucky in the red zone. The Colts only scored on 1 of 4 red zone trips last week, so they didn't score as many points, so that helped their EPA stat, but they are giving up a lot of yardage, and offenses have been able to move on the Rams defense fairly well. Now they face Tom Brady, the number 1 graded quarterback by PFF through 2 weeks. 9 touchdowns, 2 picks. One of those was a Hail Mary. So Tom Brady's going to find your weakness, right? I mean, and to me, it might be the new cornerback, David Long Jr. He improved in a small sample this year, but he had a 144 passer rating allowed a year ago. The Rams lost Troy Hill at corner. They lost John Johnson at safety in the offseason. And maybe most importantly, they lost their defensive coordinator, Brandon Staley, who's now the head coach of the Chargers. So they're trying to figure it out a little bit here on defense, and Tom Brady's going to figure you out real quick if you don't have yourselves figured out.
Brad, one thing we'll move on here. The other thing is if you look at this Rams team, and again, this is a team that I've got futures on, I'm super high on, and I think that maybe over the course of the season they get a little bit better. But right now, I'm not going to say the offense is one-dimensional, but it's basically Stafford to Kupp, Stafford to Kupp, Stafford to Kupp, Stafford to Kupp. And you have to think the Bucs are savvy enough and smart enough and have the playmakers enough to at least, you're not going to shut it down, but at least limit that, right? I mean, they're pretty creative in the way they'll line up Cooper Kupp in all kinds of different formations. We saw him catch a touchdown out of the backfield this past week and everything. So they're certainly manufacturing ways to get him the ball, but Robert Woods has not been very consistent. A couple of drops already this year. It doesn't look like any of the other wide receivers are really ready to step up for prime time quite yet. So it's kind of like, I'm not going to say the key to this is neutralize Kupp and you win the game, but I will say neutralize Kupp and you're probably going to win the game.
Yeah, and Todd Bowles is a bit like, he feels a bit like the Chiefs, but for defense, where he saves the good plays. So, I wonder if we get the good blitzes, the good coverages this week. Because as you say, if they take Kupp out of the game, are you worried about Van Jefferson beating you one-on-one? The Bucs are deep at corner, albeit with a couple of injuries, but still deep in the secondary. So I'm sure they'll take those matchups all day long. Like, if Van Jefferson can beat us, have at it.
Yeah, really do like the Bucs in this scenario here.